Tomorrow I'm going to smoke 2 Boston butts. And since it takes 12 hours to cook, or about there, I want to get an early start. So I'll be starting probably 5:30, 6 o'clock. I have the smoker all set up. The Boston butts are in the fridge. They're just in the wrap. Some people say you have to put a rub on it with brown sugar and a bunch of other stuff. That's not true. We like to smoke our butts without any rub. Anyway, so I got the smoker all ready. I got the gas all filled up and new tank hooked up, ready to go. And in here I put the big aluminum pan full of water. I put it in there and then I filled it up in there. I've got 2 racks because I'm going to put one butt up here and the other butt right there, and going to smoke them for 6 hours in the smoker, and then I'm going to switch them to the oven where it's a lot easier to watch because it doesn't fluctuate as much. So the racks are all ready. I just need to spray them with a little non-stick in the morning. And underneath, since I don't have the water pan down in there anymore, I have plenty of room for charcoal. You can see there's charcoal in there, and there's a few sticks in there just keeping it up. I like to use apple wood with pork, but you can use a variety of wood, whatever you like. But that part is all ready. And then what I need to do, what I have over here, these came from an apple tree that was cut down, and so I've just, they were like bigger. I chopped them today, or split them, so that I can just stick them in the smoker. So they're going to soak overnight and get some water in them, so we get lots of smoke out of them, but they don't necessarily burn real fast. When you smoke Boston butts, you probably want to smoke them at about, I would say, 225. My smoker, I can't always control exactly what the temperature is, but if I'm around there, 225 or 250, that'll be fine. You don't want to burn them. And that's one of the problems with the rub, is you run into more of a risk of getting some burn. But anyway, so my wood is soaking, my smoker is ready. Well, it's about 5:15 in the morning. I'm going to smoke 2 Boston butts this morning. Last night or yesterday afternoon, I got the smoker all ready as far as getting the gas all connected. I put some charcoal in the bottom, and I also, I got some apple wood. I have pieces of apple wood that I got split up better, and now I'm going to put some of the apple wood in that's soaked. And I've the new water pans are so small, and when you cook a Boston butt, you're going to have to cook it for 12 hours. I'm actually going to smoke it just for 6 hours. The smoking, it'll absorb all the smoke that it needs in that time, and the smoking requires a lot more, I guess you wouldn't say work, but you got to pay attention to it and make sure that it's not too high, not too low. And in here, I have an aluminum one of those disposable aluminum pans, filled up about as full as I could get with water. Spray the grills, the racks, whatever you want to call them, with non-stick. There we go. You spun the fat cap side, which I know it's pretty dark out here, so you can't see very well, but I can. I'm just trying not to get it on myself. So the fat cap side goes down on the grill. There's one. And notice I've taken all the other grills out. There's just 2 grills for holding the meat, and 1 grill towards the bottom of it for holding the water pan. It's about 45 degrees. Too cold for planting tomatoes. Perfect day for smoking, because it's going to get to be, I think, about 70 degrees. That's kind of where we are right now. We've got my lovely blue gloves. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to turn it on high. And then I have to sure it started. Yeah, I can see the flames in there. So, I'm just going to leave it on high, and then I'm going to come out and check it in a little bit. Move my wood out of the way. Alright, nobody out here but the birds and my smoker. And it's a few minutes after 6, so we've been smoking for 30 minutes, maybe a little longer. And I can see that the smoker is right about 225, 250. You can see that there's lots of smoke coming off. As soon as I got it going, started smoking pretty good. So I think I'm going to cut back on the propane a little bit. Alright, the Boston butts have been smoking for about an hour and a half. And we can see that the temperature is about where I left it last time. About 225, 230. Hard to tell exactly. We got some nice smoke coming out of it. I think I will just crank it back just a little bit, and I'll see how that impacts it. It is pretty much where I want it to be, but we may not need to have that much. We got we got the charcoal in there. It's probably going pretty good with the wood. Anyway, it smells fantastic out here. Okay, we've been smoking for about 2 hours, and I recently, about a half hour ago, turned the gas down. And that puts us down. Oh, okay, we're like right below 250. So we're doing good, about 225. Cooking good. Got a little bit of smoke coming out. Got lots of birds in the backyard. And so we're going to cook it for at least another 4 hours outside, and then we'll evaluate at that point. Alright, my Boston butts have been smoking for nearly 3 hours. And we have just a little bit of smoke coming out. I'm going to put in the temperature's dropped a bit. It's getting on just a little bit below 225. I'm going to put in a little more apple wood. That'll get it smoking. So I'm just going to open the bottom chamber. Hopefully we still have enough water in there, because the water keeps it moist. I'm going to use a stick to... Yikes. One thing about these smokers is there's a lot of black, I don't know if it's creosote or what it is, but anyway, you can see the charcoal looks good in there. Some little flames. This will probably bring the temperature up just doing this. But and get things smoking again. Yeah. Alright. There. So I'm going to check the water pan. Make sure we got water in. I've got some extra water. Oh yeah, it's actually gone down quite a bit, but it can still have plenty of water in there. And you can see the Boston butts are looking good. Because the smoke comes up, the outside does start to turn pretty dark. It's not black, but it's definitely not burned. Okay, this is causing a lot of water to come up, a lot of flames to come up. So I'm just gonna, I think I'm gonna turn the smoke off for now, or the propane off. And then I'm gonna keep an eye on it now, see what's happening with it. We'll keep smoking. The Boston butts have been cooking on the smoker for about 6 hours now. So what I am going to do, I've got a couple of pans, 9x13 pans. I've sprayed them with non-stick, although it's probably not necessary. I'm going to go get each of the butts And then I'm going to put some apple juice in with each one. I have 2 of these little Minute Maid apple juice things. They're all ready to go. I have aluminum foil that I'm going to top it with. I'm going to put the aluminum foil on top of it and seal it down. We're going to put it in the oven at about 225, 250. It's preheating now. And I'm going to finish it off for the last 6 hours in the oven. And it'll make the house smell fantastic. It already smells great in the neighborhood. The neighbors already know what we're up to. So that's my plan. Alright, the Boston butts have been cooking for 6 hours. We're going to bring them in. That's what they look like. Looks good. There's still water in the pan because I refilled it halfway or partway through. The butts look black, but they're not burned. They just have from the smoke. So I've got my assistant here, and we're going to... So I've been smoking the Boston butts for 6 hours. We're ready to bring them in. I just opened the door, and then I messed up my camera. So there they are. They're ready to come in, and we're going to finish them off in the oven. And so we're going to catch them. They're heavy, so it's a good idea. You don't want to use aluminum pans to catch these in. Okay, it's going to be really heavy. Because this one is about 7 or 9. Here it comes. Got it?
No, it's kind of...
Okay, let me chop wherever. There we go. All right, we'll take that one in, cover it up with foil, and we'll come back to get the other one. Okay, now we're going to get the other one. This one's pretty big too. Oops. Okay, got this one inside. We already brought one of them inside, and I took the apple juice. This is like a kid's juice box. 100% pure apple juice. Pour it in, keep it nice and moist, because it's going to cook for probably another 6 hours till it gets up to internal temperature, maybe 200, maybe even 205. So now I have to put the foil on it. It smells really good already. I mean, it's probably, theoretically, it's probably cooked as far as wouldn't make you sick to eat it, but you want the fat to render, so you have to cook it until it reaches an internal temperature. Some people say 195. I find that wait to 205, and it's really, really good. You just have to plan ahead because you know it's going to take a long time. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the oven. There they are, sitting in the oven, and they're cooking away. Got it at 250. Alright, the pork's been cooking for some time. I think it actually has a couple hours to go, but as it's been cooking for 10 hours, I want to check the temperature. So I'm going to open this up and stick the probe in one of these. There we go. Let's see what temperature it is. It feels real tender, like there's no resistance whatsoever. Whoa, it's up to 187, 196, it's up to 200. Wow, maybe it is cooked. Okay. So it cooked faster than I thought. Okay. So I'm just going to check it again on some other part. I mean, it felt really tender when I put the probe in. So.
Trying not to hit a ball.
Yeah, well, I don't feel it. Okay, let's see. So, going up to, yep, it's up to 201 already, 203. All right, this one is cooked. So I'm going to take this one out and just leave it covered. Cook really fast. Okay. And just let it sit. Wow, it's only 4:15 and I'm not hungry for dinner yet. Are you hungry for dinner?
Yeah.
All right. So let me get the other one and probe it. 209. Place two, just to make sure. Okay. Climbing back up, 202, 205, 207, 209. Okay, it's cooked. Alrighty. Thank you so much. Okay. So let me get this covered back up. Alright. Okay. So what we have here, we've got two Boston butts. They're both up at like 210 degrees internal temperature. So they're cooked. I got the foil back on them. I'm going to let them sit here in the foil, and then I will pull them. I don't know, it's 4:17, maybe when my husband can't stand it any longer. And so that'll be like around 5 o'clock. So we'll see. Alright, I went ahead and pulled the foil off and started pulling it because some people are really hungry. So I pulled it, people are eating. So now I can show you. When you go to pull pork, it's not really a matter of cutting it, except I use a knife to cut the fat off, because not all the fat is rendered. But it should pull very easily and fall apart like this. That's what you're looking for with pulled pork. Okay, I finished pulling the first pork butt. Boston butt is actually from the shoulder. And so there's just, my husband and son already ate. And then so there's these two plates that are really full, and I pulled off the fat and threw the fat away. So you can see like how easily this falls apart. You can pull it. I kind of like to pull it and leave it in chunks, and then we're going to get lots of meals out of this, and I think we're going to save a bunch of this for a party that we're having. But you know, when it cooks to an internal temperature of, in this case it went up to 210. I didn't mean for it to go quite so long, but or get so high. Only, I guess because I cooked it at a little higher temperature, put it in the oven at 250, it has not burned at all. The flavor is fantastic, and it pulls easily. Okay, so just falls apart. It's really tender with lots of flavor. Smoked it for 6 hours and then finished it off in the oven, had it covered up. And you can see how easy the cleanup was. I barely sprayed the pan, and you know, then I just dumped there was apple juice in here, and mostly the rendered fat was in here. It covered until you're ready to pull it. Yeah, it's covered. I begin to see some steam coming up. Yep, not a lot, but you see some steam coming up. It's ready to be pulled. So instead of using the two forks, I just use a fork and a knife, because I like to use the knife to scrape the fat off. Yeah, you can see the steam coming up now. So as I pull it out like this, then I use the knife. You know, the connective tissue here, you're not going to want to eat that. And especially if you freeze it, it's a lot easier to get it ready to serve if you've already just flaked all the fat off. And you can see when it pulls, it has a tendency to pull where the connective tissue was anyway. So, and that's where your fat's going to be. But this is pretty good looking pork. I'm going to put the... So, this is how I do it. It works for me to get all the fat off. And then had a nice enough lunch. I'm not starving. It's about 10 minutes of 6. Just realize that it's going to take you time to pull it unless you notice in here, like there's a lot of liquid. That I use like one of those little juice box things of 100% pure apple juice in here, but it's got a lot more juice in there because that's the fat they're rendering. But I don't like all the fat. It'll smell, it almost smells like bacon. You know, that's a pretty good smell. Or I guess you could eat it for breakfast if you wanted. Now see how this is just pulls right off. And there's a big bone in there. It's the shoulder blade. Because the Boston butt is not from the butt, it's from the shoulder. Yep, I'm just going to keep pulling it. It's kind of boring, so I'm going to stop. Okay, about 14 hours ago I smoked that pork, and it's interesting to see how much of a mess it makes in your smoker. So the smoker's probably still a little warm because I took it out, pork out a few hours, several hours ago, but there could be some hot coals in there. But you notice I sprayed the grills. The grills don't look so bad. And I'm not going to actually clean this up now. I don't feel like getting my hands all black, but I'll just be able to slide out that aluminum pan, excuse me, the water pan that I used, and I'll be able to throw that away. Of course, I'll dump out the mess inside of it, and I'm going to have to empty this out. That's not too bad, you know, just wear some gloves, some disposable gloves, latex gloves, and dump that. There could still be some hot coals in here, so I'm just going to